And welcome back to the Rocket League OCE Championship for the last week of league play and the last series of the regular season. My name is Hysterics, joined by the lovely Courier Lord, the bearded Yummy Cheese Man at the end for you as well. And this is it. This is the final spot here in the OCE Championship. It belongs to SYF Gaming or Justice Esports.
The winner gets third, the loser gets fifth. There's a big jump, not just in prize pool, but in prestige and that top 4 finals.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I just got distracted by your beard. I was like, findable carpet. What did you do, buddy? And now you have like the best
bloody
beard out of
Chad
all golfers.
on the NA.
I know, right?
Just reminds me of Stifler. That guy. Why did he get rid of the
Shouldn't have
beard?
shaved. I mean, this is such a call out putting him on the spot. He can't even respond. I'm sorry.
Carpet.
But anyway,
Kevin.
look, we're moving forward apparently. Justice Esports and SYF. This is the upstart roster from Justice Esports. 3 rookies.
Both of them are upstart rosters. They're both the teams that came through the play-ins. They're both the teams that really struggled in the group stage qualifier. And we thought, you know, maybe 5th to 7th, that sort of range. All of a sudden, one of them is guaranteed. They've both caused big upsets. They're in good spots.
Yeah, it's like green and greener, essentially, is how the way this is going to be going. But the big takeaway for me that's kind of worrying is one of their players is injured.
Yeah, Wiz broke his wrist. His whist.
No. You went for it. OCE humor at its finest, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Are you a dad now? Is that how this works?
I'm too
We
old.
started. Obviously, it's game 6. We're just obviously it's been a big day and a big day of upsets as well. SYF. I mean, they're going into this going right. Wiz has broken his wrist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is whist yummy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
he's
worst
broken
joke anyone has ever made.
It was such a hysterics joke. I can't believe you weren't there. But with Wiz, I mean, he's still playing, right? So we still got Wiz playing.
He said that he'll be about 20% down.
Ah.
You know, that
Not bad
sort
with
of
a
loss.
broken wrist.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a plaster cast, but it's a wrist, so he's got still his full fingers and thumb. But it means that he's going to be in pain.
Okay, well that's a bit of a shame for Justice Esports.
Dedication to the craft.
There's a lot of favorite. They've built up a big following here in the OCE Championship and SYF Gaming as well, coming in about week 3 or week 4 into the season.
It's
week 3.
They had a really strong season. I think their win against Legacy, now looking back, maybe not as big considering Legacy just came in 7th. But that was a big surprise. And Justice Esports have continually been the team that look like they could be a top team.
Yep.
That look like that they're playing the right style, but not quite ready, being a little bit too aggressive, being not quite on the ball.
Let's Courier, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
Let's
please.
get the predictions because we are just about to jump into this last series. Yummy, start with you.
I jumped back and forth over and over again between these two. I'm not thinking that the broken wrist is going to get too in the way, so I'm going to go with Justice.
Okay, close.
See, I've been
Very
close. I'm a purist now. So I'm like a hardcore Justice guy, but he's injured, so it's not a full Justice.
Okay, I was just like, what does this have to do with anything? So what, you're backing away from Justice?
I've swapped on finding out he's injured. Yeah, we did the inversion. I was like, I would back Justice all the way, but he's injured, and I don't know if we're going to see 800-point whiffs. So I'm worried. I think it might be SYF.
So Courier's going to go for SYF. I'm actually going to stick on Justice. I think 3 rookies, it doesn't matter if he has a broken wrist. 3 rookies, they've performed so well this season. In the OCE Championship, we haven't seen a performance like this since Pale Horse.
It's been really reminiscent of that. I think not quite as dominant, obviously, but they definitely have that same play style, that same chance.
Yeah.
But whoever goes through, wins this, gets into the top 4 finals, is all of a sudden a big contender.
And I mean, it's been a day for upsets. So if they can get this, it is the opportunity for upsets next week. We've seen the Chiefs can bleed, Tainted Minds can bleed. Well, maybe. Let's see if that happens again.
Well, Justice Esports, 3 rookies jumping on. SYF Gaming, they're a bit of upstarts themselves as well. We actually have Smiths here on the pitch from Justice Esports, so I believe Wiss is not playing at least in this first game. We'll have to confirm for all of them, so see if Smiths can fill that position, because for Wiss, he's been such a key member here in Justice Esports, and on the verge of their most important game ever in the OCE Championship, they're going to have to be huge.
Yeah, they're going to have to rely on that Yeatsy factor to come out again, where he absolutely pops off, goes nuts, and gets like 7 goals like he did against Legacy.
Well, Smith's trying to facilitate as best he can. The pass is over to Yeatsy, interrupted here. Straight into game 1, SYF Gaming on the defense. Delusion has had a big moment before. Now, this was in the top 4 already. Delusion made it with Sirix and Siki on the side of Legacy Esports, who were just knocked out previously before. Got Decker there as well, who's had an improvement to the season. Steve up for the ball. Good defense there, but Requiem Also known as Billy to many young fans.
Yeah, there was a fan club for him as well.
There was. Jake was part of it, our resident caster, Jake. A big fan himself. The push away by Justice Esports. SYF, an easy save by Requiem. This is important. The first game again defines where we're going to sit in this series. And defines as well how Smith is going to play into this team.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing we have to watch out. I was 100% for Justice, but the substitution and injury from a key player I think may be enough to affect the performance. But they are still keeping it at 0-all, which is a good start.
Oh, Smith, what a solo play. Decker's gone up for it as well. The save needed there, a clear away, but Smith's a good impact onto the goal this early, and that's what you want to see from the sub coming in.
Yeah, beats them to the ball. That's the critical thing. Justice Esports has a lot of potential to play fast, and as long as you can match that or even beat them to it, opportunities will arise.
I remember we were talking about this before we went live. We said, is Smith as good as Wisp? We said, it's probably not an upgrade, but for Smith, that's a really good start. And for Justice Esports, as Yeezy gets that save away, this is what they need to begin this series the right way.
I mean, if they have the passes, right, as long as your substitute can immediately come in, be part of the play, it's not going to be a huge compromise to your success.
Smith even has another shot. The setup and the passing play once again, Korea is going to hit the wall, go back down. Yeezy almost gets the touch off of the roof of his car. Decker coming forward. SYF looking for the freedom to breathe. Smith gets through. This is another opportunity against the wall. Delusion. The defense not strong enough as Steve comes back in. SYF on the defense once more. Delusion and Decker both commit for that ball. Smith centers it over to Yeezy. Almost finds a second touch to snipe it in. But look at Justice shutting out SYF here. A big clear finally. But Justice is just going to send it right back.
Yeah, they're very happy to move back as soon as they see that clear coming forward, enabling them to take the ground clears and push it deep back into SYF's half. It's been a dominant performance of holding that midfield and then utilizing that pressure to slowly pressure SYF.
It looks like such a good fit here for Justice Esports, and that is so far. Game 1, 2 minutes remaining. Justice hold the lead, but can they maintain it? SYF Gaming trying to push past this midfield, but the clear's getting denied. Smith sticking around to the aggression over the top. SYF off the backboard. It isn't defended. Smith gets bumped out, and there's Decker's goal.
The 4-touch play does come out, and SYF are using that communication of having that longer roster together to make the big plays happen. Requiem's bump pivotal in deciding whether or not they'd get that goal.
1-all, 152. This game 1 career will also be pivotal. This is the moment for Justice Esports to define themselves. This is for SYF Gaming to push forward after what was a slow start to the season, getting picked up by SYF in week 3. Justice Esports have got a lot on their plate here. They're more experienced than the members of SYF. Can they prove that 3 rookies can make it through to the top 4? Steve gets that intercept. It was a close call.
Now it's their opportunity to push forward. They've got SYF locked again in their half, and that mid-range presence is denying any of the clears.
Smith hanging in on the wall. Requiem doesn't get that second touch as the clear comes through from SYF, but the pass into the center. Decker won't find it. Momentum stops for a second, but Requiem brings it back up. The tempo's still there. Off the wall, Steve needs to find the clear. An easy one here for the Justice member. Delusion intercepts again. Decker's here off the wall. Opportunity for SYF, but they missed it. The demo will actually keep the attack going. It's onto Yeezy. Requiem gets a pass 1, pass 2. Now for Decker. Make it the 3rd.
What patience as well. He sees the play coming out and just slowly crawls forward, waiting for the opportunity, and snipes it in and takes that shot.
Requiem on the back again. Requiem, the playmaker, again. 2-1. SYF Gaming take the lead with only 54 seconds to go.
But that's a tenuous grasp they have over the game. That's 1 goal in 50 seconds. Justice are unafraid to push forward, and they've had so much possession, they could just take it away with a few seconds left on the clock.
Steve tries to take it away himself. Yeezy now back on the defense. SYF Gaming looking to shut them out. Smith sitting in net. A mistake there as Steve struggles to recover. Excuse me, Smith's Requiem is 3rd.
Yeah, Fat Lady's coming out from behind the curtain, having a little cheeky peek as Requiem finds the beautiful angle.
Not sure what's going on there, but unfortunate. SYF Gaming, they take the lead, and it looks like they take charge in game 1.
It's good position. SYF has so much growth. Even though these plays have words coming out of my mouth and not the order I want.
Yeah, so Korea, you got to finish a point.
Yeah,
you just can't leave me hanging.
That. Let's hear where we're going.
Yeah.
Even though they are players that have been in league play before, they've seen so much growth. They've doubled their goals per game from this season to last.
It's an impressive feat right there. You saw Justice pretty close towards that net. Individual plays, 15 seconds remaining. Delusion goes up. Steve meets him. Yeezy pops it forward. It requires Smith to come in, but he gets demoed on the way. That'll stop Justice. Even one goal here is not going to be enough. And for Justice Esports, close calls and an early lead. But SYF Gaming, they claw back and they take game one.
Yeah, I think the early performance there coming out of Justice, they just weren't able to hold it. SYF managed to claw themselves back mentally, and with it, take possession and slowly draw back the game.
You got to talk about Smiths for a second, though. The sub comes in, the person that, you know, we were convinced that Wiss was playing with his broken wrist. You know, originally it was confirmed that, you know, that was what Wiss was going to do, but bringing in Smiths here is a big call for Justice. It felt like it worked out in the first 2 minutes of that game, but then suddenly they start demoing him, they start getting in his face, the bump there from Requiem. Yeah. That changed everything.
I mean, it's a lot of pressure, right? You're the sub that comes in last minute, hasn't had much time to prep, and they're like, hey, if you lose this, we're like out of the tournament, and if we win this, you know, good job, you've kind of saved
welcome
us.
In, Smith, you know.
Yeah, no pressure,
first
but
game day, there you go. Imagine walking in and getting that pressure on you. I mean, for Smith, it's about maintaining the confidence as well, and his style also assimilating into this squad of Justice, because they just have such a unique style themselves.
And they're pretty young as well. Like, the guys
Very
are like
young.
15 years old, only newly able to actually compete in the tournament.
Yep.
To have so much pressure lumped on them for such a huge amount of money, and then one of them is like, yeah, out of the blue, you're playing today.
You're playing. Smith, get on in. We've seen Smith before, you know, different stages. We've seen him in the competitive scene, but it's always Smith trying to get into that top 8. But now this is an opportunity. Get your team into top 4. Even if you are a sub, you're filling incredibly big shoes here. And for Wiz, after such a successful season, Smith starts game 1 on that trend, but now into game 2, they have to translate that into a game win. Otherwise, SYF will be on match point.
Yeah, SYF have a lot of sibilance coming out. Sorry, Justice, but yes.
Yes. No, SYF career, you're exactly right. On the defense, Justice Esports. They need to break free of the control of SYF Gaming. From the corner, it's Yeezy again. He'll find a favorable touch. Smith goes up for it. He can't direct it towards that net. And Steve has to come in now. The pass, great infield to Yeezy, to Smith. From the corner, it's got speed on it. It's got time. But Justice Esports, they can't find that final knock into the back of the net.
We're seeing some good patience come out from the midfield, though, as they allow Steve to move forward and slowly rotate in, not wanting to compromise their position and allowing themselves to play a little bit safer without jeopardizing any roles that could happen.
Good read by Requiem. For some reason, I can't say his name. He'll have to pick up boost, recover back. Same with Steve. Yeezy coming in. Delusion. Side again as he picks up boost. It's going to be about Justice Esports getting through this defense of SYF Gaming. No goal yet. The infield pass to Yeezy. So much speed on it from Steve. Delusion just knocks it towards net. It's Smith who will bang it back. But the touchdown, Yeezy, an opportunity if he could get past Decker. It's still good for Smith. He goes wide. The pressure on his back. Is it too much?
Yeah, Smiths, though, had that good fundamental, staying at that rear post, enabling his team to push forward, but unfortunately not quick enough to move back up for the counterattack when they needed it.
I'm going to say the pressure courier, you said it yourself. You get third if you win this matchup here. Means you first, the second seed in what I believe is confirmed as Tainted Minds.
Yep.
It is an arguably better matchup than the Chiefs when they're in form in their best of sevens. Requiem with a clear away. SYF Gaming want to make sure they secure their third seed. Otherwise, you're out completely. There is no middle ground here for both these teams. Justice, knowing that they're able to push forward, trying to play that aggressive play style they're known for. Intercept there from Steve. A good try will set Justice up from the corner. Still on the attack. They stay through. The snipe from Smith. Maybe no pressure's affecting him as he finally puts on the goals and the layers within.
Yeah, some great shots coming out there. Justice not too confident with the attack going all out. So they play it safe, pull some members back, and enable themselves to be safe from SYF's counterattack and then push deep into SYF's.
Justice are getting bullied by SYF. You can see they keep going for Smith. That's a massive clear from Decker. Steve goes up, reaches it quite well, but Requiem with the read comes all the way back down. Easy will come over the side as well for Decker. No boost left in the tank, so Justice just have to play with it. The clear comes out once more. Still 0-0. A good favourable sign for Justice after game 1, but that one goal could define everything here. Steal away by Yeezy. Steve's coming up. Smith's hanging back. The change in rotations here from Justice Esports. It'll be Smith who takes a shot directly on net, but Decker saves it away.
Got to be worrying why SIF keep going for those pop-ups. We're seeing Justice consistently beating them to the ball, winning the challenges and winning those 50-50s. They may rely on shorter passes if they actually want the goal.
He's coming down, has to reset the bouncer down! Smith, you're not a sub, you're a damn hero as well.
Welcome to the roster, son, as we see another goal come out with Smiths with a beautiful play and the reset almost coming out as well.
You gotta say, all right, I take it back. He's not nervous, he's excited. He's raring to go, Courier. 1-0, 2 minutes left remaining. And I like what I see of Smith. And before, I was not saying the same thing.
Yeah, you're a hungry, hungry Hippo Hysterics, and you are fully sated.
Yeezy will get that ball out of there, but I cannot be sated until that clock goes to 0. A miss there from Smith. Soul. It's going back and forth here, Courier. They're trying to bump away Smith, but he's gotten control of the ball again. It'll be up to Steve to come around the corner, but Decker narrows it away. SYF Gaming in a dangerous position here as Yeezy will get another good center field pass all the way to Smith. That'll hit backboard. It won't go to Requiem, but Delusion finally clears it out. Justice Esports applying pressure when needed. And SYF Gaming, they're running out of time. Can Decker do anything with it? He misses the ball. Delusion sends it downward towards that backboard. No touch there. Decker almost finds it. Requiem goes forward as well. Delusion can't seal the deal. And SYF so close yet so far.
Yeah, so close to the play, but unable to make the follow-up touches, locking Justice in their half. But that big save there from Delusion in the midfield denied the counterattack. But with the clock running down, they need to make something happen fast.
They might find something soon. Smith gives it over to Yeezy off this right wing. Delusion gets a center field pass. It's a good one. The infield works out well. The demo's there. It's going to drop into net. The first shot, the second shot, the third. Requiem seals 1-1.
Well, this is a spicy game, and that is a critical demo. Yeezy being annihilated, and Smith being out of position to be able to comfortably defend. If they need to keep pulling out demos to score, why not keep on doing it?
SYF Gaming equalize once again. Do we rinse and repeat? Do we find a last-second goal where SYF take the lead and seal game number 2? Justice Esports have 30 seconds remaining if they don't want this to go to overtime, but SYF taking shots on net, getting room to breathe. Is this Yeezy? He comes in off that back wall. Justice pushing forward. It's Steve who commits. Smith hanging back. Yeezy with the angle. Decker, save your medal, but the ball's still in play until Smith gets demoed. Steve has to get all the way back. The dribble comes forward. There's no play yet. Requiem off that back wall. It's dropping down. Yeezy will save it. Delusion centers it. There's going to be a massive shot here from Decker, but I feel like it's still just going to go to overtime here, Courier. 1 second remaining, and boy, oh boy, out of this corner, that ball better hit the ground. Yeezy coming in high, off the ceiling. Overtime it is.
Justice must be happy with that. All of them completely out of boost, enabling that reset. And now SYF again try to start being aggressive.
Both teams have already created an upset to get this far. Now it's about who can go even further. 10 seconds into overtime, Justice in front of that net. A great place to be, but they don't stay there for long. It's SYF who finally breach, who finally get on the attack, keep it around this corner. Smith struggling to get it through Delusion. Yeezy will get the clear. Requiem so far up, excuse me, as Smith goes towards that net. Yeezy will just have to clear it once more. The Smiths up to Delusion once again. Steve, infield pass, but no one's there. Requiem, not a favorable touch either, but the bounce is, Decker almost finds one. Yeezy will clear it through. Smith, the sub, what can he make of this ball? It's bouncing down. Lobs it up. This is for Yeezy, but Decker gets there first. A good read. Steve is here too. The center over to Delusion. Decker's in front of net. The touch, it's almost faked out. Delusion hits the crossbar. No rest for the wicked here. SYF once more into the breach, dear friend. Requiem says once more.
That was a heart-wrencher for SYF. Yeezy missing the critical save, but they didn't manage to make the final connection. Justice Esports has won 6 out of their 7 overtimes, so they're going to be patient, they're going to be chill as the pressure mounts.
Smith touches that ball. It's a close call. Decker comes back in. The center's beautiful. The crossbar is not a friend of SYF Gaming right now. Decker hanging around the midfield. Delusion with the angle sets it up for Requiem. He sinks it through, and SYF Gaming go to match point.
And now we see the castle walls break down after consecutive shots and the barrage unleashed upon them as they take the win.
Justice Esports coming so close, yet now it feels so far. They must find a reverse sweep. They need a series win against SYF, otherwise their league play will end in the 5th position. SYF Gaming, one more game and they taste third. They find themselves in their first season together as a team in a good position over a team like Order.
And how good would that feel for every single player in SYF? You have two players that have never actually broken it into that top 4.
Yep.
Their first season were kind of lackluster. You know, the green rookies coming into it. But for Delusion, getting dropped by Legacy, seeing them come in the bottom 4, and he goes, you know what? On my own, I'm going to pick up 2 of my mates, and we're just going to make this happen.
They'll be like, SYF will be like, Sicky and Zerix, guys, I'm up here. What's going on? Without the BM, without the banter, this game, bringing down to the core of it, comes down to one moment. SYF Gaming need one more game. And both these games have been so close. We've had overtime. We've had ourselves a 1-goal game difference. Justice Esports, they finished ahead before this week in the standings. SYF Gaming is showing them exactly what business means.
Oh, it's incredibly clutch. I feel so bad for Wiz not having the opportunity to showcase himself and represent himself. But the sub's doing an okay performance. That game, not as good, I don't think.
Okay,
first one significantly better, but they're down. They're not out. He still has opportunity to rise.
Mean, that goal by Smith, you got to argue it was still a beautiful goal. There's confidence in this player here, and Smith now has to show that confidence coming into Game 3 because SYF Gaming, they're the ones who hold with their heads held high. The first goal has been going to Justice, but it's been making no difference here. Can they find more? Justice Esports Game 3, match point for SYF Gaming.
Yeah, we are seeing these guys monkey around the pitch as they push on forward. Strong showing, fast showing, and that's the way it starts.
Requiem setting it up for Delusion once again. That dunk down was missed and could have been the first goal of the game. Over the top now, the left wing. Steve not hanging around. It's Yeezy now. The shot's good. It's fast pitch. Yeezy starts off huge.
A little bit worried when I see all the Justice guys going for that really close play, but it's well calculated as they have the opportunity for an incredibly fast follow-up, regardless of where it falls.
Right in the corner there for Justice Esports. This is Rocket League. Justice Esports in Game 3 start off with a 1-0 lead. And SYF Gaming now have something to fear, but can it be maintained? Steve with the dunk down, hits the roof all the way back up, and Decker will get the save, tries to dribble it out, but Justice Esports, they lose the play once more. It's up to Requiem, who just keeps dribbling and dribbling. The guy needs a bib at this stage, because SYF Gaming getting set up off of Requiem.
Yeah, the absolute bullying there. We saw 2 of them attacking him on the backboard, but it may cost them the opportunity as Justice just run around the pitch on the other side and open up that net.
And it was Steve who just had a field day with this ball once again. I thought, oh, he's probably just going to score it himself, but Yeezy, his second goal of Game 3, Justice want to turn this into a series.
Well, these are young professional players, so they know sharing is caring. This is an important thing to keep in mind.
I think even if you're not a competitive player, you know that sharing is caring. It's just a life lesson at this point. Smith, good defense there, straight on. As Requiem comes in fast. Yeezy off the left wing. Smith is going to follow it up too. It's Delusion who's waiting. Steve comes in for the challenge, doesn't win it over. SYF Gaming know there's one defender there. Delusion trying to get fancy, but he goes wide. Smith's now left with the defense as Decker just rolls it around the side. Requiem comes back in. The bounce is there for Delusion. Shot goes in.
Yeah, good rotation back there from Delusion. Tries to go for the pop-up despite not having any boost. Then realizes he can come back around the other side and take advantage of the lack of rear post defense.
Oh, Yeezy almost saved that one away. In fact, he helped it in the end. Just couldn't get there. 1 goal the difference. And what we've learned about this series is that even with a lead, Justice Esports struggling to maintain it. Even the kickoff goal seems to be a threat right now. And SYF Gaming trying to claw their way back in Game 3 to secure that series win.
They're both hungry for it. These are 2 young teams that want to show that they have the potential to go pro. They've idolized these other players at RLCS, and they want to be able to fight with their heroes.
Shot again on net. Steve, good save there. Delusion takes the infield pass, takes it well, and SYF Gaming are in a good position to get another goal. Decker even waiting around the midfield, setting the ball up directly towards net. He's run out of boost, but the double touch was a possibility. Delusion comes back in. Requiem now the only defender. Smith is there. Misses the second touch. Some nerves coming through from Justice Esports. Yeezy too high on the pass.
Yeah, unfortunately they didn't have the opportunity for that follow-up, but they're maintaining pressure and Delusion trying to find a hole in the defense.
So is Smith. Shot there, light and easy. Steve comes back in off the left wing. Smith as well, waiting up high. Justice Esports have all pushed up. Smith will be the last defender. Decker waiting there for Requiem. Comes off that back wall. Delusion with the touch again. Requiem is there. What a reposition to score that one.
Yeah, what a good read as well. Knowing the opportunity would come where the backboard offense would work out so incredibly well. And Delusion on that angle for the setup too.
Requiem, the peace of mind to do that in that situation. 2 minutes 30. And again, Justice cannot be happy, even with a 2-goal lead here in this series. SYF Gaming, in the later portions of each and every game, just seem to switch on.
Requiem, such good growth. Back, no longer the days of the 7th seed, Mastermind games. Now fighting for that top 3 spot.
And looking pretty good doing it. SYF Gaming almost find the gap in that defense. Justice hold on for now. It's a tied game. They need more around the side. Requiem, that's not a clear out. Smith tries to come in. Steve will find it anyway.
Not in time. SYF try to go for the self-dunk, get themselves in the way, but unfortunately, Steve, with a beautiful read, managed to find just where it needs to go.
Is this going to change it up? Is Justice Esports going to hold the lead this time? It is so back and forth, but SYF always managed to come out on top in this series. Game 3 is at the end. Or Justice going to continue their run? Right here, SYF saying no again.
Justice just don't bow to the pressure. The young guns do fear nothing as they run forward. So I think they're going to be fine until it is exactly over.
Justice Esports react to the clear. It's 1:45 left remaining. Can they hold out? It's a goal difference. Delusion up for the ball. Smith with a clear that goes only to Decker. This is a favorable touch. He'll take the boost on the way. Decker can't do anything with the ball, but Requiem can. He comes in for the second touch. Even gets it through Smith. It's for Steve now. Justice Esports. Got to be careful of Decker. Delusion able to push forward as well. Sorry, Requiem is the one we should be watching. Definitely watching out for.
Yeah, loving the backboard. Regardless of whose it is, he just gets up there for the defense or the offense to really shut it down or set it up.
1 minute 15. That setup going to come through now. Delusion finally gets it through, but the counter clear. Requiem denies it in front of net. Decker's coming in the dunk. Yeatsy saves it directly, sends it out. Steve, Yeatsy again, the clear's there. Justice just need this next goal. That would give them so much more comfortability here in this third game. Steve goes up for the ball. He doesn't have boost. But at the moment, he's relying on Smith. That shot is going to be too high. Steve comes back in off that back wall, just setting off the play. Decker comes back in as well. 40 seconds left.
SYF enabling themselves to break out, even though Justice had full boost across their roster.
But they're still able to push forward. The attack comes through, and Justice might have to recover now. The pop up. Steve is going to commit for this one, but he's missed. Decker's punched it down below. Requiem's here as well. That net was spicy at that point. 20 seconds left remaining. Korea in front of the net. Requiem's off the backboard again. Decker's here. A good punch up by Steve, but Requiem's not done. The hero they need, the Billy fan club returns. But SYF Gaming, they may have run out of time in this game. Can Justice find the strength to hold this defense? Requiem even bumps Delusion, but Justice Esports, they fight back.
Yes, as Steve, the captain, puts it down, starting the reverse sweep that they're hoping will come.
And now for SYF Gaming, they need to find something to get that final game, to push themselves over the line, because Justice Esports have found one. And we know what happens when Justice Esports use the magical power of momentum.
Yeah, and friendship. Yeah, no, they turn around the game very, very quickly.
Yeah.
They're a team that they don't bow to the pressure. We've noticed that when the overtimes come out, they consistently come out ahead way more often than they should. I think they're 7 for 8 or so now. They're doing incredibly well.
Apart from this series, where the overtime we saw.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to affect their performance. The only person I'd really want to be looking at in that case would be their sub.
Yep.
But I think he's been playing well enough to kind of keep them in the fight. It's whether or not we're going to see like the Yeatsy pop off or the SS Steve pop off.
It's when we look at this and backtracking a little bit. SYF are the team that beat Order 3-1. And when you look at Justice, they're the team that beat Legacy 3-1.
Yep.
Now, Justice came close to beating Order. It was a 2-3. But with Order's performance today, you can relate it. You can kind of put them pair to pair, I guess. And I think Order, at the moment, are looking so good. SYF managed to beat that team convincingly. And it's just showing testament here in Justice. It's a 2-1. Can Justice continue, or SYF looking as strong as we say they are?
Well, I think it's like a subversion of expectations, right? We had the two older teams that we expected to make top 4 unable to do so, and both these young teams are now the ones contending for top 3 and putting on a great show while doing so.
Well, SYF Gaming still on match point. Remember, they got time to play with, but can we see a Game 5 here in one of the most important series of today? Game 4 is going to tell us exactly that. SYF Gaming found a 3-1 against Order. Can they find a 3-1 against Justice Esports? They're in the goal square. But that's not going to be enough just now. Relies on Smith here, the sub. He's been doing well. We want to see him do fantastically.
And now the opportunity does come out. Requiem running low on all resources as he's forced into the corner.
So is Smith. He gets the bump out, actually. Delusion will be the last line. Requiem here receives the ball, ready for Deca. He pops it up. Requiem has no boost, but he'll be able to pass it off to Delusion. Nothing happens with the ball. It ends up being a clear. Justice Esports now gets some room, but Requiem actually stealing the ball away resets the play. Delusion comes in for the bump, and Deca around the corner has set it up once more. SYF choking them out, and Steve just gets demoed. Delusion brings it back on in. Steve will respawn. But SYF Gaming, they're encroaching on dangerous territory, but they love it.
That was a huge bump as well. The potential to come out from that, they didn't have the angle, unfortunately, to convert it into a goal, but conceptually, loved it.
SYF Gaming, they've started off well, but again, converted into a goal career. It's going to be so important. Requiem on the right wing there. Smith just pops it up, but there's no massive clears that turn into attack. Delusion maybe dribbling the ball wasn't the right idea because Smith has gotten a bit more control. As I say that, Delusion regains it, sets it up for Deca. Steve commits. Yeezy forward as well. Delusion here off the right. They've bumped into each other. Smith, the last defender. He's got a clear head at the moment. Oh, dangerous stuff, Justice Esports. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, he saw the whole conga line coming on through and then said, nah, let's skip straight to the front.
Steve actually gets Requiem in the demo. The attack continues. The big punch up from Delusion. Denied as the infield pass is intercepted. It's Requiem's turn off the backboard. A clear by Steve. Deca brings it back in, but Steve is still here. The shot towards net, and Justice finally strike.
SYF didn't have that confidence on the counter-attack, and it cost them because Justice Esports did. SYF had that opportunity. Both of Justice's players were up, and they could have scored on that open net, but too far back, caught in awkward footing, and enabled the counter.
To see Justice get around that defense is so important. Maybe it's a testament or a delusion to the game that we're going to see. Sorry, illusion. I have a habit of doing that. 4 games in, 1-0 for Justice Esports. Steve gets bumped out of the way. Smith's waiting in the midfield. Requiem doesn't really clear it, playing with time as Yeezy commits forward. They're trying to get around that defense, see them commit up for the attack. It's Smith's in the defense. He'll get a nice clear, round it out towards that backboard. Smith's up. Maybe it wasn't. It was Steve. Yeezy here as well, keeping the pressure on.
That's the important thing, maintaining the pressure despite the fact Smith has no boost. If they can just hold them here long enough, they can bleed the opposition as well.
Steve brings it back around the wall. Requiem finally gets it through. Delusion doesn't get that touch to angle towards net. Yeezy gets it past defense. It's going to be Deca again. Delusion hanging back. The bump onto Yeezy means something, but not enough.
Yeah, it was a counter bump because Justice did one of their own, both trying to disrupt the opposition, trying to get inside each other's heads.
Delusion was just trying to hit the corner, just the tip of the car there, but he won't find anything. The pinch away, rolling towards net. That's in. And that's what Justice are looking forward to.
It could be all they need. That pinch is going to be critical in deciding how this match goes. Justice can now sit on the defense with the option to sit in the midfield, with SYF struggling to get the easy goals that you might expect when fighting a sub. This could go to a Game 5, Derek.
I think SYF thought that was going to go wide as well, Korea. They thought it was just going to go next to the post. But unfortunately not. SYF down again. Justice want to take us to a Game 5. And this is definitely better than a bunning snag right now. Justice Esports pushing forward, but the defense is only Steve. It's hitting that backboard. He gets a second touch. Deca reads it, commits, but Yeezy, what a save and what a Game 4 from him.
Yeah, great defense there, denying both opportunities, and then with a follow-up bump off screen, did enable them to completely shut down the offense.
Smith is just looking so confident as well. Pushes forward without boost. SYF, the counterattack is going to be punishing, but Yeezy brings it to a slow. Delusion comes back in, and SYF Gaming are hungry for 1 goal. They can taste it. They need it. The demo in net. That's going in until Yeezy says, get off my lawn.
Deca takes 2 consecutive boosts. There's no way for Justice to recharge now.
Delusion.
They need this breakaway.
That touch from Delusion was so dangerous. He just punches it right to Justice Esports. They turn on the attack again. Smith gets a small bump, and Justice is still able to push forward with 1 minute remaining. Can they hold 2 goals? They haven't before, but they're in such a good position to do so.
Deca's power play started to pay to fruition now as Justice Esports is running on empty.
Smith, he's going to receive the ball. That was Steve with the miss. We jump back down, 40 seconds remaining. Delusion can't get it out of there right now. SYF Gaming are struggling to get through this midfield. Requiem finally breaks the curse. It's Deca. gets demoed, however, by Steve. And now it's up to Yeezy just to clear the ball out, keep the pressure on, keep Justice alive in this series, and turn this into a Game 5.
Just run that clock. It doesn't matter if they score, as long as they can continue the scramble. That is all that matters. And with 14 seconds left on the clock, it may just be done.
SYF Gaming coming into the midfield. Justice Esports now just need to keep it up their career, and I think they've done it from the verge of extinction, much like the dinosaurs. We didn't know how we got there. We didn't know how it happened, but not like the dinosaurs. They've denied it. They've said, we're going to Game 5, even though the dinosaurs didn't say that.
Imagine if dinosaurs could say that.
Imagine if they could. Korea, we're in a Game 5. Holy guacamole. Because I can't swear. Justice Esports, they should have been out. The way SYF were looking, they should have been out, but they turn up. And Smiths again, although not a good performance, not as a good performance, excuse me, as Game 1.
Suitable for a sub.
It's fine. We're on Game 5, and Justice Esports have evened this out.
Yeah, this is incredible. Not only are they playing for 5th versus 3rd seed, they're in that Game 5. We potentially could see an overtime as well, because all the matches have been incredibly close.
So for Justice Esports, remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you have just tuned in, this series, the winner of this makes it into the OCE Championship playoffs. The loser gets 5th. They will not make playoffs. They will not hit top 4 in OCE. Both these teams deserve it. They're hungry for it. And SYF Gaming, although they've got more experience here, the 3 rookies in Justice Esports have brought us to the Game 5, off the verge of a 2-0 start by SYF Gaming.
And the way they did it as well, they had this season where they came in, they didn't have as much experience, they're young guns, and now they're going up against a more veteran team, SYF, who does have that league play experience, and they're taking them right to the wire.
Let's go. There's no more words needed. We're about to jump into game number 5, Korea. I know you're excited. I'm excited. I don't have to say the word excited again, but this is the moment. If you want to define yourself in OC League play, if you want a chance to go to RLCS, this is how you do it. SYF Gaming, Justice Esports, Game 5. One more game to decide who takes it out. And SYF Gaming under the pressure.
And not only do you get that 3rd seed, but you get to dodge the Chiefs who are in 1st and fight Tainted Minds who are in peak form.
Steve comes back in. SYF almost had an opportunity there as Justice Esports. Smith waiting around the midfield. Will be Steve with the center delusion, just punches it down the middle. Defense there. Smith pops it over the top. The sub getting frisky. A risky play at that as well. Yeezy, the pass to Steve. Good stuff there. Justice Esports, the backboard now theirs. They go wide. Smith brings it to a standstill. Gets in the way of the ball. And Justice are denied their first goal.
80% is not all the way there. Unfortunately, they had 5 consecutive touches. What a heartbreak, as they didn't manage to pull it through. But with such an offensive attack on SYF, you know they're quaking in their boots.
See similar plays coming through. The touch against the post. Illusion will get the pop forward. Yeezy hangs back in the defense.
Too many cooks spoil the broth, not wanting to run forward.
But playing caution here. Both teams do not want to let in that first goal. It's going to change everything. Justice on the defense now. Have to hold on. Hits the roof. It's Steve who sends it away. Decker goes forward as Yeezy gets demoed. It's Requiem's time to shine. He set them up before. Can he do it again? That touch almost has pace on it. Requiem was close, but again, no goal. 3 minutes 30 remaining.
Smith's almost breaking it out for his teammates, but enabling them some quick, easy breathing room might be enough for them to recharge that boost and control the air like they have in the rest of the match.
Steve goes up for the ball. Requiem doesn't find the clear. Smith's hanging at his side here. Delusion from the corner. Smith will do something. The sub almost finds his mark. He'll hit the post again. And Justice Esports, it's their 3rd shot. They're getting close.
They're starting to show too much respect, I think, though. Sitting in that midfield, enabling one of them to come in and take pot shots may not be enough when the SYF defense is holding strong.
Good dodge there from Smith. The demo attempt was there by SYF Gaming, but they've turned this onto an attack. SYF with 3 minutes left to go are now in a good position, but Steve gets it past Illusion. Smith around the corner, tries to bump Decker. He misses. He recovers, picks up the boost, leaves it to Yeezy, and now it's Requiem who's misread the bounce. Delusion comes back in. Steve from the corner. SYF stuck on the defense here for a while. And Justice Esports now have to be careful. They've all committed up dangerous plays there.
Now we see them pushing forward, though. This is a chance for SYF to try break out, but Justice just does not give them any breathing room, and with full boost, this is their first real opportunity.
They'll pinch it out of the corner. Delusion's waiting there from the corner again. Requiem's coming in for the shot. Steve directs it away. This is the opening. Yeezy from the corner gets it through. Delusion with the defense there right in front of net. Decker turns it into a counter-attack. The touch there. Smith will launch it up. Delusion's there as well. Into net. They can't find it, but SYF do.
Great read there by Delusion, takes his time and patience, and such a quick follow-up with all three SYF members being involved in the play, and the gentle touch in the bottom left, icing on the cake.
Is that going to be enough? Low-scoring games as the past couple of affairs. 2 minutes left remaining, and SYF, they've taken the lead. Justice Esports, they clawed it back to this point, and SYF have managed to find that first goal in the crucial Game 5. Smith, the sub, the rookie, bringing it forward. Steve from the corner. Remember, they're all rookies. Smith has to hang back. Decker going to push the ball back down. They've got plenty of time, but they just need that one goal. Requiem's up for it again. No one's in net. Smith, a misread.
Billy's fan club continues to clap in the audience as another great play comes through. That 2-0 lead is going to be pivotal when there's only 140 left.
Didn't have any boost. Unfortunate for Smith there. SYF Gaming a 2-goal lead. 1 minute 40. Have Justice taken it all this way to fall here? Could be likely. Requiem comes in around the corner. SYF jumping up. Want to seal the deal. Delusion's here as well. It bounces. It drops in. And SYF 1 step closer to top 3.
Third time was indeed the charm. The life is slowly eking out of Justice Esports as SYF gets more and more confident. The aggression coming out in consistent consecutive attacks.
The hero story for Justice might just be taking a different standpoint at this point. SYF Gaming now off the wall again. Decker, a beautiful goal. And SYF, they're running away.
If that's the way you want to qualify for the top 4, you want to have that show pony. You want it to be better than 4-0. You want to get those big goals.
Well, 4-0 at 120 Korea. I think we could have just sealed the deal. We could have just sent SYF packing towards the top 4. And Justice Esports, they're packing all the same. They're running away with this game. And Justice, the confidence has disappeared from what was Smith coming in and making a good entrance here in his first game, has now turned into SYF Gaming. It's a free market for them.
Yeah, they are just free pickings. They're getting taken apart. The double commits on those defenses. SYF takes opportunity after opportunity just to keep on attack.
Setting it up again. Delusion takes the pass. It's all over.
This is an amazing feel-good for Delusion. Knowing that his old teammates, the ones that dropped him, didn't qualify, he takes his rookie roster of friends, goes all the way, and takes not only top 4, but 3rd.
But for someone like Requiem as well, someone we haven't seen in the spotlight for a long time, always sitting that sub position for the Chiefs. Now, he moves forward himself, top 3. There's 5 goals. There's no way Justice can find their way back in this game. You're asking for the impossible. They brought us to a Game 5. And in the last 3 minutes, they have been pushed back. They have been torn apart. And what an effort from the rookies this season. What excellent gameplay we've seen. They'll finish 5th. But boy, oh boy, did Justice test SYF.
I was about to say, it is no shame on them in coming in 5th. This is a season as completely green rookies. They came in and they took it all the way for potentially 3rd. An unfortunate substitution did affect the performance, but boy, oh boy, that's a great way to blow into the OCE.
But you'd say for Smiths, you know, there was a change from Wiz, but at this point, as they score the final goal of the game, you've got to give some praise to Smith. He came in last minute, filled the role well. He brought them to a Game 5 too. Yeezy on the side with Steve. And for Justice Esports, the hero story will come to an end here. And for SYF Gaming, what this means for them, they make number 3. They make top 4 in OCE. They'll be pretty happy with that, excuse me.
That is a bittersweet game. Congratulations out there to SYF, led by Delusion, Decker, and Requiem. equally as important in making this a success.
SYF Gaming, they brought us to a 2-0 start to this series. Justice brought it back, but in the end, the strongest team prevails, and it was SYF Gaming, Chiefs,
It was such a nerve-wracking series, and I would have loved to have seen what WIS could have done. A big unfortunate event, and I think Smith did do a good job of filling in, but it was so hard because he was good playing, but he wasn't in their rotation. He was going all the way back. And overall, I think Requiem really stepped up in this series. He's had the best performance. In those 2 games where they lost, he was quiet as, but every single game that they won, he was an important part of that. The first 2 games, he was ridiculous, and he just couldn't keep it up over the entire series.
I think Requiem, you've seen a lot of growth over the course of the years. Like, you look at the last time he played in a season, he had like 0.24 goals per game, and now he's like a strong contender to be one of those guys we're seeing in the top 4.
Well, these are the 2 teams that were hardest working, and you really showed it the growth over their season. Requiem had over 100 hours a fortnight for the entire duration of the tournament, and his hard work has paid off. He's now in the finals. Of course, he's up against Tainted and Chiefs, where they did get very thoroughly beaten.
Do you remember what I said at the start of this? When SYF picked them up, I thought, it'd be great if SYF, now their team, after SYF jumped on in, they go from, I think at the time, it was 7th or 6th. They climbed all the way up to 3rd. Like, it's a hero story for both of them because they're both fresh teams.
Yeah, they were the last team to get picked up by an org, and now they're in top 3, 3rd spot.
It's devastating for Justice as well.
It is.
Yeah.
They did their best, and they had a great season. They had ups and downs, and they'll be thinking in the back of their mind, what if we had WIS that entire time? They did really grow over that series. You know, they figured out their rotation. They knew that Smiths was going to hang back, so they pushed forward a bit more. Somewhere that Yeetsy's not normally comfortable with, so he performed well in that role in an attack. Unfortunately, when the first time they get behind a single goal, which was Game 5 at the start, they panicked. It was much like SYF in the previous 2 games. Lots of panic there in defense, and you just saw it get worse and worse.
Finally
and worse
got real.
as they were just jumping for everything, thinking a shot was coming when there was not an opponent there. And unfortunately, the ghosts of the nerves get to them again.
However, looking on the positive a little bit here, for these 3 rookies, now they're in the spotlight. A team that contested a top 4 team and was this close to hitting their mark. Now you put Justice in the spotlight. People like WIS, Yeetsy, Steve, even Smiths after that game, in parts of it, you go, right, these players are a must to pick up.
Yeah, and in the off-season, I think they've got plenty of chances to grow. There's a lot of opportunities there for them to really become a big team next season. Hopefully they stick together. I think they're all 3 very high potential players. So we'll have to see on that. But for now, SYF, the big story, the big comeback, takedown order. They take down Justice Esports today, and they've secured their top 4
You'd feel
spot.
so good about it. Let's have a look at those standings because we have our top 4. We have our champions here. Of course, Chiefs will have first seed with Tainted Minds coming second. SYF over order. Now, again, we talk about the start of the season. This is not how I thought it would play out.
For sure, and even Chiefs, I think they may have been intentionally throwing. I mean, that's not actually happened, because they would have wanted to reverse SYF over Order in this. I think they know that Order maybe have a big potential to be a massive threat to the Chiefs. But for now, I think both Chiefs and Tainted Minds will be pretty happy.
Yeah, they're pretty confident.
Yeah.
I think in the standings in general, like teams like Avant and Legacy down at the bottom, again, not expecting that to be the end result. But we've seen upsets today. We've seen many examples of why OCE Rocket League is still developing.
We also saw a lot of records today. We had Dripegg being the first player in OCE to reach 150 goals in the OCE Championship.
Wow. Okay.
We had Dumbo being the second to reach 100 assists. Kami was third to reach 200 saves. And Shady and Dumbo both hit 400 shots today. So
that's pretty cool.
Those were like a lot of big records, a big day of Rocket League.
A huge day of Rocket League. However, next, well, we got to do MVP, don't we? All right, see, I remember this week. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't tuned in, this is the part where we do our MVP of the week. And for League Play 5, our very last week of League Play, who do we have?
It was very close considering the performance of Requiem in the last series, but it has to go to Jules. What a massive performance to take Order from on the brink of extinction all the way to the first Order, coming in number 4. Fourth. Jules got 10 goals, 6 assists, 16 saves, and 17 shots. He had a 45% shot accuracy.
910 points in the last game.
Record-breaking number of points in a single game. He had a ridiculous day in a day where he had to have one.
Yeah, it took about a day to perform, and I think he walks away now with highest MVPs on his team, highest goal participation on team, highest saves on team as well, and highest shot percentage on team. I think he's got all of those. So he's done phenomenal.
And still another big shout-out to Requiem. He tripled his number of MVPs for the season.
If we could give two, we would. However, that's why Jules deserves our MVP of the week. But this is it for us, at least until our finals. We, next week, move forward to our top 4 and deciding who our top 2 will be going towards RLCS.
It's been a brilliant league play. I've loved watching the teams. I've loved seeing the upsets. Lots of new teams, a lot of potential here. But next week is the big moment. That's when we find out the 2 teams that go to RLCS.
Yeah, so all you international people, stay tuned for next week when you're going to be able to see all the big boys from our region fighting for
And stay tuned tonight, 3 a.m. AEDT for EU. That's going to be a big one as well, because even though Dignitas have secured their spot and have the chance to beat out Chiefs and Tainted Minds to be getting a 7-0 season, every other team has a chance to get in the top 6. There's still a whole bunch of teams able to get in the top 2, and we don't know how that's going to go. So that's a must-see as well.
You've got to tune in for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take what's known as a break for a week. When we return the grand finals, that's October 14th for you. And remember, we're in daylight savings time now as well. Big thank you to Korea, Yummy Cheese Man. We got Wolfie in the back. We got Jake as well. He's not in the back. He's somewhere out there. But Wolfie's still a gem. And thank you to our production team. We will see you for our finals on October 14th.